If routine is killing you, you might be living a lie. This is the story of Elena, who watched the film The Matrix one Saturday night and discovered that her life wasn't boring. It was a glitch in the system. Do you dare to see the glitches in your own matrix? Take a seat. This blue bench has a spot reserved just for you. Elena closed the door to her children's bedroom and sat down on the sofa next to her husband. The Matrix was waiting on the screen. Something had been calling her to watch it again for weeks. She'd seen it when she was younger. Back then, she was already dating her now husband, and they had plans to travel, to live a little before having children. But life led them down a more well-trodden, more conventional path, one that was more sensible, as her parents used to tell her. This path now felt heavy, routine. She felt like she was going around in circles, getting nowhere. She went to bed thinking about the film. She'd enjoyed it just as much as the first time, but today she was no longer the same person she'd been years ago. She took a gram of melatonin, hoping it would help her sleep. The morning held another working day, preparing meals for the following week. The children's clothes, cleaning the house, not tidying it, because there wasn't enough time for that. She closed her eyes, and the first thing she saw was Neo. He winked at her and asked, "What if everything you think you know was false and you had the power to change it?" And she fell into a deep sleep. Elena woke up with a start, thinking about how short the night had felt. She sat on the edge of the bed, put on her slippers and... Wait a minute. My slippers aren't green. They're beige. I'll hop in the shower, see if that properly wakes me up. She let the hot water run over her face for a bit longer. It made her feel more present, as if the world for 5 minutes would stop being so loud. She wrapped herself in the towel, and when she hung it up, she was puzzled. Since when have we had a towel with the Real Madrid crest on it? They'll have to explain this to me when they wake up. I'll go to the kitchen and have a coffee with the slice of cake left from yesterday, she thought. It was her mother's specialty, which she brought over every Saturday without fail. She didn't have much time. She had to prepare breakfasts, then the laundry, and blah, blah, blah. She opened the fridge. The interior light was flickering. I thought these lights were supposed to last forever, she mused. She sat down to enjoy those 10 minutes of blessed glory. She took a sip of coffee and a bite of the cake. It tastes of nothing. Am I catching a cold? Oh, no, I can't afford to get ill. What would become of this house without me? Today is definitely a very weird day, and it's only just starting, she muttered. Her eyes closed for a moment, and she saw Morpheus asking her, "What is real? How do you define real?" Elena looked him straight in the eye and replied, "Good question. Until now, real, for me, was my job, my family, my friends, my safe and predictable life. But now I have my doubts. Morpheus continued. Have you noticed the glitches in the system? What glitches? Elena asked. The color change of your slippers, the towel in the shower, the flickering light in the fridge, your mother's cake, having no taste. They are all glitches, and there are more that you can't see yet. The truth is, your mind is more open now, because you watched The Matrix last night. He replied. Elena, wake up. Have you fallen asleep having breakfast? You had a very weird day yesterday. Come on, finish up. If you miss the bus, you'll be late for work. Don't worry about the children. I'll take them to school today, her husband said. Is it Monday? But how? She stammered. She was still in a state of, I don't understand what's happening. But she finished her coffee in one gulp and ran for the bus, catching it by the skin of her teeth. Morning, Elena. So, did you finally watch The Matrix over the weekend? Asked Louise, her colleague, from the desk next to hers for years. You'd been trying to watch it for weeks. Hey, Louise, since when have you had a beard? Elena, meeting room in 15 minutes. You've finished the report on the hotel case, haven't you? Her boss inquired as he walked away down the corridor. Well, she was trying to remember. But what report is this man talking about? She thought. Elena needed a breather. She headed to a small coffee area located in the quietest corner of the office, where she would gather her thoughts. The beard, the report. She poured herself a coffee and closed her eyes as she took a sip. What is real? The question flooded her mind. Since she had watched the film last Saturday, things had been happening that absolutely didn't fit and defied all logic. Could they be glitches in the system? Glitches in the Matrix? What nonsense am I thinking? However, what if it was true? That would mean she was inside the Matrix. Good morning, Elena. A rather enigmatic-looking woman greeted her. Good morning. Oh, you gave me a fright. I didn't see you arrive. Excuse me, but who are you? I am the Oracle. Morpheus told me you might need me. Do you have a question for me? It was impossible for Elena to utter a single word for several long seconds. Then she managed to gather a few and ask, Are you really the Oracle from the Matrix? The one from the film? You can ask me whatever you like, but I will answer what you need to hear, the strange woman said slowly. Why is this happening to me? And even more, what is the purpose of this happening to me? Elena asked. You are starting to glimpse not only what reality is, but also what illusion is, what you have created and believed for so many years. You wish to wake up, and you sense that there is something more. But hold this in your mind. There is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Setting off will bring your liberation. The oracle pronounced. What is the Matrix? Elena wanted to know. Look, the Matrix is control, and it is also choice. It is the layer of routine and normality that you have accepted. It is the voice of others, the voice of your fear that tells you that you are not enough, that you are not the one, that you must return to your boring job or your old ways because it is safer. Think about this. The Matrix gives you comfort in exchange for freedom. It gives you a tasty meal, a salary, a predictable social life, and convinces you that that is all there is. It is the pact you make with ignorance. The real Matrix isn't the machines, nor the green code falling. It is the belief system you have in your head. It is the doubt that tells you, what if I fail? Agent Smith only exists because you believe he does. And here comes the paradox. The Matrix is also the tool you need. It is where you develop your faith, your will, and your capacity to truly love. If the illusion wasn't there, how would you know what is real? Don't look for the Matrix outside. Look for it in the limits you place upon yourself. The trick isn't to destroy it. The trick is to see it. And once you see it, the rules no longer apply to you. Because, in the end, the Matrix is just a question. What will you do now that you know you can choose? The oracle concluded. Then she extended her arm towards Elena and offered her a red pill. Keep it. You don't have to make the decision now. And she left, leaving Elena completely shaken by what had just occurred. As a reflex action, she looked at her watch. Oh my God, I'm late for the meeting. She ran down the corridor, knocked on the door, and opening it, asked permission to enter. Come in, Elena. We were waiting for you. Come on, sit down and give me the report. David, her boss, a middle-aged man with an overly tight tie, snapped, looking at Elena over his reading glasses. Elena tried not to make a sound as she moved the chair to sit down. In her mind, the figure of a man dressed in black with sunglasses appeared. Mr. Smith, she muttered. This is very strange, but I'm sorry. I don't recall having any case related to a hotel assigned to me, she said, without raising her eyes from the table. Could it be a mistake in my diary? It's just that last week was very difficult with the children. David threw his glasses onto the meeting table with a dry clatter. He leaned forward, fixed his eyes on Elena, and said with a tone of disappointment, Elena, it's always difficult, and if you've forgotten it, that's worse than not having done it. You are a bloody glitch in the system. The hotel report is not a sheet of paper, it's £1 million. And I wasn't paid, nor do we pay you, to listen about the difficulty of life. We pay you to maintain your performance, and your performance is failing. Look, you have 30 minutes to find that blasted report. And when you come back, I don't want excuses about schools or about your tiredness. Understood? Go. And don't waste my time. Time is money, Elena. And right now, you're stealing it from me. Extending his hand, he ordered her. Take this pill for your tiredness right now. See if you can buck up a bit. Elena got up without saying a word, took the pill, and a sharp pain in her stomach became visible on her face. She walked away down the corridor and headed for the coffee area. Her heart was pounding a mile a minute. She couldn't stand being there anymore. Although she had accepted it, it was getting harder every day. She made herself a coffee and took a sip. Its aroma always put her in a Zen mode. As an instinct, she reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out 2 pills, one red and one blue. Her stomach continued to give her increasingly strong twinges. Perhaps David's pill would take away that pain which was becoming unbearable at times. But perhaps the oracle's pill would give her the clarity needed to free herself from this life that wouldn't let her breathe. "What do I do?" she said with a tone of desperation, and a spark of intuition made her realize that she, and only she, at that moment, had the power to decide over her own existence, as if her non-physical eyes were showing her a chink of reality. She took the blue pill with her other hand and threw it in the bin, and with a sip of coffee, she took the red one. She stood there for a few moments, waiting for something to happen outside or inside her, and nothing. "Did I take the red one then?" She walked over to the bin, and there, indeed, the blue pill still lay. She calmed down and also felt the urge to grab her bag and leave. And so she did, but first she stopped by the meeting room. She knocked before entering, looked her boss in the eye, and told him in a calm but firm tone, "David, I don't have the report you're asking for, and it's not registered in my diary either. I am not a glitch in the system, I am the solution to get out of it. And so I'm telling you goodbye forever." And she left the room, closing the door, shall we say, energetically. The sound of the door slamming woke her up. She looked at her mobile. It was 7 in the morning on Sunday. Was it Sunday? It couldn't be. She checked the time and date again. It was exactly 7 o'clock and 1 minute on Sunday, October 19th. So she had watched The Matrix on TV the night before. Oh my God, it was just a dream, but disturbingly strange and vivid. She needed to get out of bed and get a glass of water. She put on her slippers, her beige slippers, just as she had left them the night before. She got up and started walking towards the kitchen, examining every detail of her house with each step, hoping to find something that wasn't the same or was out of place. She entered the kitchen and stood by the table in the center, scanning every inch of the room, trying to find something different. And nothing. Everything looked the same. She opened the fridge. The interior light was working perfectly. She took out the cake and the bottle of milk for coffee. She sat down to enjoy those 10 minutes of blessed glory before starting the chores of every Sunday. She took a bite of the cake and, it was definitely the best cake her mother had ever made. I really fancy going out for a breath of fresh air in the park. I have a load of chores to do, she thought with a tone of disappointment. For a few moments her mind was stuck on that feeling, but something inside pushed her. "Elena, it's Sunday. It's a beautiful day, and you really fancy it." Go out, enjoy yourself. Don't worry, the chores will still be there. When you get back, they won't go anywhere. A phrase from the oracle came to her mind. What will you do now that you know you can choose? She left a note on the table. Gone to the park. I'll be back in a bit. She put on her trainers. She grabbed her keys and closed the door gently so as not to wake anyone up. As she stepped outside, she saw the light. Nothing had changed externally, but something had changed. Her perspective on seeing the world and seeing herself. And she remembered the oracle's words again. There is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Setting off will bring your liberation. With doubts and with fear, she set off, walking briskly towards the park. She knew this path wouldn't be easy, but it was the path she herself had chosen. And that day, it had started with the very first step. Waking up isn't always grand. Sometimes it's as simple as going for a walk. But that is the real revolution. Elena took the red pill, but the real choice was going to the park. You have your own red pills. If this video made you ask yourself, what will I do now that I know I can choose? Leave me a comment with your personal red pill, that small choice that changes your life. Subscribe and join me as we continue to journey inwards.